Hey there, this is Chris Anderson, better known as CE Sim Golf online. I'm here to talk about some of the work I've been doing in the OPCD course design for GSPro. Some of the advanced bunker shaping, and it pertains to more than just bunkers, but this should give you the general idea of how I'm going about it. If at any time I say things that don't make sense or you've never heard before, you need to go back and watch all of the entire series from Master Blasta and any of the other amazing helpers on the Discord that have given videos, because none of this should really probably be undertaken unless you are pretty much finished with the course as far as layout goes. That means splining your course, cutting it, getting all the terrain digging and shaping done in Unity, and having it all pretty much squared away. The reasons why will become apparent later, but I'm going to take a page from Masta's book here, and I'm going to start with a theory video. So let's get into it. So what's required for this? Well, I'll admit that when I started doing this, I was a first-time designer and learning all these different softwares, although I do have an extensive background in both 3D modeling and Photoshop work. So I was very comfortable with the tools. That's maybe the biggest thing that will be an advantage here. But like I said, first, have you done everything else to create your meshes? That means everything from, if you're using LiDAR, getting everything through Unity, exported as terrain, pulled into Blender, Inkscape splines finished and pulled in, cutted, everything conformed, and all your meshes and FBX files exported and back into Unity, and everything looks good. It is even a big advantage if you've already textured everything, because it'll give you a really good look at what your final advanced look will be. If any of that I just said doesn't make sense, you are probably not ready for this type of work. So, what will we need to know if we know and have done all of that? Are you comfortable in Blender? And by that I don't mean have you brought your splines and your object of terrain in and run the scripts that the GSPro people have given us. That's not enough. I highly suggest that you take a course on Blender. One of the popular ones is through Udemy. I can link to that. Many people have been doing that. There are countless videos on YouTube that can teach you Blender. The Blender Guru is a very good place to start. But anyway, you have to be very comfortable in Blender and understand 3D geometry and what's going on. It's also very helpful if you are comfortable enough with everything that you know all these shortcuts. I will link as well to a shortcut cheat sheet I use, and I will also just list in the comments maybe the major ones that I will be using in a later video. That will just help speed everything up tremendously, because let me tell you, this can take a long time. I am doing it with all the bunkers on my current course. I don't think you certainly don't need to. It can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes up to, if you're doing textures work and everything. I mean, I've spent an hour on a bunker, just one. So I would not recommend that for all of them. Not by any means, but this will give you a good idea. Okay, so what exactly are we doing? What is the advanced editing? We're editing the terrain meshes, and that gives us control and pinpoint sculpting. When sculpting, I use that in the same way that you'd use the word modeling if you're 3D designing, or, you know, it's the way I think of digging terrain in Unity, which is what, that's the verbiage that's used to describe that. But as you know, in Unity, it's pretty messy to edit your terrain. Once those meshes are created, like I said, everything needs to be done. All the cutting, all the conforming. Those meshes, they're basically flat 3D objects. Now, yeah, depending on your course, they could be extremely hilly, mountains, bunkers dug, rivers, cliffs. But what I mean by flat is they are more like a sheet draped over a bed of pillows than they are the entire bed itself, or a clubhouse, or some other solid 3D object. Don't be afraid of them. If you are comfortable in Blender, which you should be to do this, they are nothing other than a 3D object with vertexes, edges, and faces. The biggest thing is having respect for the edges, because the plugins for Blender that were created for us as part of the OPCD do a phenomenal job of taking those splines we make in Inkscape and creating those 3D objects so that they perfectly meet each other with matching edges. It can be a little confusing to even see that they're different because their edge vertexes match up so well that they overlap, and I can show you how they get in the way. Let's take a look. For instance, here's a bunker on a green. It's been dug out. You can see it's pretty shallow. There's a cliff side here. Now, if I tab into it, you can see the geometry of it. It has this outer ring of vertexes. Now, it looks like the rough in it are one mesh, but they are not. If you were to select vertexes and move them, they move independently. You see that? That is a hole in the mesh. Even if I were to select both these meshes and tab in so you can see all the geometry, these vertexes and their edges all match up so well, but they are not connected. So any editing of one mesh, for instance a bunker, when we're doing this advanced work, can disconnect it from the rough around it or whatever is around it. And that will create holes in your meshes and create a giant problem for gameplay. Ball can fall through, disappear. So while we don't want to be afraid of these meshes as objects, we need to be very respectful of their edges. Sometimes you're going to end up having to fix an error that you create. What we're going to be doing is fixing and adding geometry so that we have more to work with. And that is the most time-consuming thing in the current build. Now, when version 4 tools come out, the geometry is so much better. I think this will be loads faster, but the general principles will still be the same. Why are we adding geometry? We need denser amounts of faces so that when we start moving around things for the bunker lip changes or bunker sand base changes in shape, it's smoother. Otherwise, we're going to see triangles, we're going to see weird jaggy edges instead of smooth edges. And those weird transitions, if we didn't add geometry, breaks the realism. What we're going to be doing is giving the bunker lip, surrounds, and even the sand some variety, because variety is the spice of life, or it's at least what makes things look the most realistic. It's the reason why we use things like the sat shader, because the satellite shader gives that appearance of differences in texture, because no actual environment, even a perfectly maintained golf course, is 100% consistent in its color and grass and texture. We can also create things like overhangs where the grass falls into the bunker a little bit, or there is a lack of lip or a bigger lip somewhere, just that kind of variety. And we can also combine this geometry techniques with UV mapping, which will be a different video series, to create an appearance of things like stone or rake patterns or pretty much anything you want. Changes in the lips, the edges, the blending, you name it. So anyway, if anything I've just said, this video got a little long. If anything was confusing, if anything didn't make sense, you heard things you didn't know, go back. Do more work on the basics of course construction, even maybe publish a course, finish a course. You can always go back and do this step later. I didn't even start this until I was at a point where I could release the course. This needs to be done after you have a complete understanding of the rest of the process. It also needs to be done after you have backed up everything, especially your Blender file. Because if you screw this up, it can be very hard and time consuming to correct. So you will want to be able to go back to your original cut and formed FBX files. All right, I've talked long enough on this one. The next video will get into actually working with those meshes in Blender. Thanks.